Hey, if you're new here, I am Joel. I'm a filmmaker and photographer, and I got into stock photography and video like as a contributor in 2020, and basically to see if I can make a couple extra bucks or some kind of passive income off of literally hard drives full of video and images from both my work as on jobs I've shot as well as my travels. So if you're digging that sort of content, then please give this video a like and maybe even subscribe. Appreciate it, and let's go ahead and get into September. So was September a good month? Well, yes and no. So we'll start with the good, and the good aspect was I was traveling a bunch. We were actually traveling, my wife and I were in Bulgaria, and we traveled to the Czech Republic for a really awesome travel conference that we attended, as well as get a chance to do some press trips. So these are really awesome things. We had a wonderful time, learned a ton, and got so much more like footage as well as images from this trip that I'm super excited about. Now on the bad side, we had basically had no time to edit or upload during the whole month of September. And then to make things worse, if you watched my last video, you know that at the end of the month, we basically got a really nasty case of COVID and ended up being stuck in our room for what ended up being almost 2 weeks. Yeah, so that's kind of sucked. And to make that even worse, it was our anniversary week. So we both of us just spent our time in our room, sick as dogs, unable to like think or function or do anything. I have to say that the biggest bummer of all this was that during our time in Prague, we only we had like maybe 2 or 3 days to get around and look at things, and I didn't even film anything the whole time I was there. I had like such massive brain fog that I managed to grab a couple pictures. I'll throw a couple of those up here, but other than that, I didn't film anything. I barely did any kind of stock photography, so it ended up being that whole part was just a huge bust. And to make matters worse, my numbers for September were pretty crappy. So let's talk about that. Starting with my best performing agencies first, because we're gonna try to like make this a little bit more positive again after that sob story. Actually, Wirestock came in #1 for me, and I don't know. Just to tell you how sad this month was, I made less than $10 on Wirestock. So you know the rest of this month's gonna suck. But here we go. I have 513 photos, 90 videos in September on Wirestock. I had a total of 6 downloads, and that brought me a total earnings of $8.56. Now, before I get into Wirestock's earnings, you may have noticed a few changes, or updates rather, with Wirestock at the beginning of September. Now, the good news is they finally updated their portfolio page, which basically gives you the ability to change some of the prices on like prints, and also like sort your images on the back end so you can kind of see what is selling and that sort of thing. So this is good, sort of, because essentially being able to change the prices on the back end is now behind a paywall, which is called the Wirestock Premium Plan. So to the best of my knowledge, you have to be a plan member in order to be able to access that aspect now. That's kind of a bummer. Now, they also cut back on the number of assets that you can actually have automatic keywording and descriptions applied to. So before it was based on the percentages of, I think it's still based on the percentages, but they cut everything back by like what looks like 60%. So instead of having 1,000 a month that I could submit to based on, you know, having a high acceptance rate, now that's down to $300 a month or $400. And yeah, that's just not cool. And that's irregardless of whether or not you're part of the Wirestock Premium Plan or not. So anyways, if you're all you Wirestock users out there, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't care for this. Let me know what you think about this too. I just think it sucks. Now, granted, I will say this. I am not a power user with Wirestock. I am not uploading hundreds upon hundreds of images every month. So it really doesn't affect me that much. But there are those out there that do power through that. And I think that's probably what maybe they're being overwhelmed with it or not. But this is not a video about Wirestock Premium Plan or Wirestock. I'll do another video about that actually very soon. This is about my earnings, so I digress. Let's get back to it. As for my earnings in September, well, let's see here. It was definitely not a repeat of August, unfortunately, but there were a few highlights. So photo-wise, I had 11 photo sales, which I think I said earlier I had 6, but I was wrong. I had 11 photo sales, and this one here actually sold 5 times. This photo here was actually from Oktoberfest a number of years ago, and it was taken on a train back to Austria because I was at the time staying in Munich. It actually sold through the extra channels program of Wirestock, and that only made me 4 cents each. Like, really? 4 cents? But this next image made up for those 4-cent shots with this image here from Shutterstock. This yellow flower was actually shot in the Dolly Museum. It's just one of those things that like an isolated shot that I did. It sold as commercial and it earned me $3.33. And then here are a few more images that sold on Wirestock in September, starting with this one here you've probably seen again, Ross Lake. This is in Washington State. And then this other one here of Lake Chelan, which is a really cool vineyard there. And that is absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorites. And then I also had 2 more that sold, and these had only sold maybe once or twice before, and actually not through Wirestock or any of their vendors. They had actually, I think, sold on 2020. RIP, rest in peace 2020. And this one here was an overhead shot that I did of a street. I just thought it was kind of interesting. It's more of a artsy kind of picture I took a long time ago. And then this one here of this baby's birthday party, kind of an overhead of the kids reaching in. Now also with referrals, I had a number of referrals, and I actually earned $1.48 from those, which was actually 78 sales. So that, again, that's really good. Which means, again, all of those of you who watch this and who sign up through my referral link, that means that you guys had a whole bunch of sales, and that's awesome. That's what we all want, is lots of sales. So thanks for doing that. I appreciate it. If you're interested in Wirestock, before you do it, obviously there's some pros and cons. I've got a lot of videos about some of the good aspects, bad aspects, kind of an overview. Definitely watch that before you decide if it's for you, especially if you're like a more intermediate level stock photographer. If you're a beginner, then honestly, I think it's a pretty good place to start off with. But check those out, and then if you want to sign up, there's links in the description. So coming in second place in September was Adobe Stock. Now on Adobe Stock, I've got 616 images and I've got 60 videos uploaded as of September. Basically I had 6 downloads, so not a lot, but my total downloads brought me in $4.29. So, fortunately no video sales, which is always disappointing. But I had a few sales. I'll just show you a couple of the highlights, some of my favorites, starting with this one here. Actually, it's not my favorite, but it's a nasal swab. So obviously COVID's still a thing. I just experienced it. And of course, people are still buying it. So this is a commercial image, sold for 99 cents. This next one is actually my wife, just kind of overlooking a beach in Hawaii. That's actually in Kauai, if you want to know. It's a shipwreck beach in Kauai. It was model released as well, sold as a commercial, and it earned 33 cents. This next one here is a shelter, this rain shelter that you duck into in a Puerto Rican rainforest, and that sold for $1.19, also as a commercial image. I'll leave you with this one here. This is another beach in Puerto Rico. You've probably seen this one before if you watch my videos. It's sold on iStock and iStock Getty a bunch of times. It sold for $1.12 as well, again as a commercial image. So in third place we have Shutterstock. I know I actually said the words. My portfolio there is 691 images, and I have 72 videos in September. I had a total of 24 downloads. I always end up with a lot of downloads of Shutterstock, but the earnings don't reflect that. $4.27. So I had, what is that, 6 times the downloads and only made 2 cents less than I did with Adobe Stock. So if you're looking for a stock site to upload to, there's a clue right there. I am still kind of splitting my submissions between Shutterstock and Wirestock as well. As if you've been watching this, you know I do that. I don't think I got anything uploaded, honestly, and I think I got 1 photo uploaded in September on Shutterstock. But Almost everything I had was subscription sales, and as you know, those subscription sales are usually pretty small. But here's a few of them that I thought were notable, some of my favorites as well. Starting with this one here of the Sierra Nevada Mountains in California. And then this next one here of the St. Petersburg Pier. And this one actually sold 3 times, which is pretty common. It sells a lot, but 3 times last month. This one here, a winglet shot from a Southwest Airlines flight flying into Oahu. Obviously this is an editorial image, and it actually sold 2 times in September. And next we have absolutely lovely shots. One of my favorite shots that I took in Puerto Rico, and it's in Old San Juan. And it again is an editorial image because of course you can see those people and everything in there. I also had a few on-demand sales, like with this image here of this tasty New York strip on a grill. Yeah, if that makes you hungry, I'm getting hungry too. It was commercial, and again, this one's actually sold quite a few times for me over the last year and a half, I think, since I uploaded it. Never makes a lot of money. Like, I haven't earned enough to buy that steak again, but pretty soon it will. And also, this last one here is Convict Lake. Really nice, pretty shot. It's sold as a commercial image as well, and that's also in California. So now rounding out the top 5 for September, I have Dreams Time, which gave me a very rare video sale. So on Dreams Time, I have 917 images at the beginning of September, and I had 138 videos. I had that one download, and it earned me $3.70. It's not a very high number. I wish it was a lot more. It's actually one of the lowest amounts I've made on a video sale, but I mean, I'll take $3.70 versus no sale at all. So, but this one's actually kind of a weird one. You can watch the video. I'm not even sure why they sold this, but this is a random restaurant called Tia Maria in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Actually a really good place if you're ever in Santa Fe, eat there, it's good food. So it's obviously an editorial image, and I was just surprised that it sold. So I don't know who bought it, but apparently they needed a restaurant in New Mexico. So there you go. All right, and last of my, I guess, honorable mentions is coming in 5th place for September was iStock Getty. Now, iStock Getty, I've got 105 images. I don't have any videos up there, and I haven't really uploaded hardly any images to it, at least not in September. I had 5 total downloads, and that earned me $3.19. So here are a few of the images that sold, starting with this really pretty picture. This is like these palm trees and green grass. This is in Loquillo, Puerto Rico, and that sold through Getty Images. Now, this image was of this huge beer tent in Oktoberfest, and this sold on Getty as an editorial image. And of course you can imagine why, because Oktoberfest is going on. It was happening in September, at the end of September, and it was the first one they'd had in several years due to like all the lockdowns and everything. Which is also why this next shot was also Oktoberfest. This is just the grounds of Oktoberfest. You can see just, you know, people milling around in all their outfits and stuff like that. This one sold as an editorial on iStock. And then next up, I have another newsworthy item, this exterior shot of the Dolly Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida, and also sold on iStock as an editorial. And you can imagine, because of the hurricane that they just had down there in Florida, which actually took out a big tree on the back of the building called the Wish Tree. And so I think that's probably why this image sold. Again, newsworthy things going on. So again, don't forget to upload editorial images because you never know when they're going to sell. So now for my dishonorable mentions, as I like to call them. Here we go. I had a few sales from IM, Canva, and 123RF. Total sales for all of those were only $1.80, so not really much to speak of. But there's a couple images that sold. I'll just share a few of those. Here's one of my wife hiking in a mangrove forest in Puerto Rico. This sold on 123RF. It earned 22 cents. It was a commercial image, and of course it was also model released. This next one here of Emerald Bay in Lake Tahoe, California. It sold on IM, and it earned me 70 cents. And it's actually another one of those that sold, I think it sold like 2 times on IM for like different pricings in the same month. Just kind of an odd thing that happens a lot. And then finally, this other one, same image I think before, of Convict Lake in California, and it sold yet another 2 times, and for a total of a whopping 8 cents. So yeah, real big money there, but, and again, this is why it's dishonorable. But I also didn't have any other sales on any of the other stock sites that I contribute to, including Deposit Photos, Alame, VideoHive, Pond5 again, and of course, Fine Art America, or Never Fine Art America. I don't know. I never sell anything on there. Okay, so now, how about you guys? What were your sales like for September? Definitely let me know in the comments, especially if anything was noteworthy. Also, that brings us to my total earnings for September of 2022. And of course, before I get into those earnings, do me a favor, give the video a like, subscribe if you are interested in all of this stuff, if you're finding some good content, if it's helpful, all that, or even inspiring, I'll take that. Yeah, again, you can also use my links in the description for anything. I actually think I have Amazon links down there too, so if you want to do that, I'd appreciate it. Also, you can even buy me a beer. There you go. Thanks in advance for using any of that stuff, or just leaving a comment or subscribing. You can do those. I love it. All right, let's get into it. So now my totals for September of 2022 were $25.52. That was from 45 image downloads, that one single video download. But that gives me an average portfolio of 624 images and I think about 106 videos or so. Now, overall, I went from one of my best months ever last month to one of my worst months of the year. Hey, that seems to be this trend here, right? Overall, it was a $11.80 deduction over what I made in 2021. All right, everybody, thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely check out my other channel, Wandering Hartz, for some of our travel videos. In fact, we have some of our more Bulgaria videos coming out as we speak. I hope this inspires you with your own stock photography journey, or that you get a chance to learn something from it. Some of my images or whatever inspires you or teaches you something. I hope so. That's kind of the goal here. That's why I spend the time to do this and take the hours to edit and all that crap. So yeah, if you find any of this helpful, again, you can always use those links or buy me a beer, or again, just say thanks. All right, appreciate it. Cheers, and I will see you guys shortly because I've got a couple more videos coming out soon.